This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, check it out. I'm wearing our spare to keep bowlers off house shots. I've been waiting to wear this shirt on the air, so I'm excited.
You got them all. I show up to League on Tuesday night and shout to George, my guy George, former fellow Peacock, has on our dumpster diving shirt at my league. I was like, wow, look at this. This is amazing. So, yeah, it's great.
It's a pretty good shirt, too. It's a good logo.
No doubt.
But it fits good, man. It really does. Like, I like the fit on it. A little tight around the arms, a little bit loose around the waist. I feel like one of those people on Instagram selling those like white T-shirts, you know, that they sell, like those advertisers. So anyway, Mike, what's good, man? What have you been up to? I know we didn't go on last weekend.
No show last week. No show next week. We're sort of on a week by week basis here right now, just because it's that time of the year. You know, it's that time of the year. Like bowling's wrapping up, and leagues are wrapping up, and summer is coming, so things slow down a bit. But yeah, definitely we'll be around. Just we're on an interim schedule right now, I would say. But yeah, I'm good, man. You know, I'm back to bowling league. The people will love to hear your boy's back to bowling league. I've been at league the last 3 weeks in a row, I think, and yeah, we were in the basement. Then we went on a 3 or 4 week winning streak where we didn't lose a game for 3 weeks, and then this past week we went 7-2. So we moved up in the standings a bit. Actually got my check for the first half last week because the guy that runs our league, Tony, is quite possibly the best league secretary / treasurer in the country. And I say that in all seriousness. He is absolutely on top of it. And if you had your envelope paid by 2 weeks ago, then last week he was going to give you your first half check for the first half. Get that out of the way. You get a check a week early instead of when the league ends. So yeah, I got a nice check. Me and my guy Mike D. Shout to Mike D. if you're listening. We finished third in the first half. So yeah, nice 900 for third place. I was like, okay, it's not too shabby. Now, obviously, if you don't finish, I'd say top 4, top 5, it's probably not that great after that. But yeah, I'll take it. So got the first half check in the league. Have bowled the last few weeks. Nothing spectacular at all. I think a small 6 on the short 3 weeks ago. And then, yeah, 2 560s, 570s on the medium and the long the last couple weeks. The long pattern, I felt like I should have scored a lot better than I bowled last week. I have the long pattern figured out. I know how to play them. I know what ball to use. Same thing with the short. I know how to play them. I know what ball to use. It's just a matter of, a little execution here or there. But listen, like I say this all the time on here, and I truly mean it. That's what I enjoy about bowling in that environment. I enjoy that unless your execution is superior, you're probably not going to score all that great, right? And yeah, I enjoy that. We're actually league is good. We're wrapping up this week. This Tuesday is the last Tuesday. I'll be bowling again. We're finishing on the medium pattern. Shout to Lou in the chat. His team won the second half. They already wrapped it up with a week to go. He's bowled tremendously in the second half, so shout to him. But 1 week to go. I'll be bowling this week. There's something else that I want to talk about though in terms of the league. We're basically being pushed out again. The league's pretty much. I mean, all right, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit to say pushed out, but there's a lot going on in the local bowling community here in Monmouth County, New Jersey, right now. So, a long-time bowling center that for a long time was referred to as Airport Plaza Lanes because it's in a shopping center that's known as Airport Plaza. Then it changed over and became Bolero Hazlitt. Okay. It's closing down. It's shutting down. And the reason that it's shutting down, and it's shutting down abruptly. I mean, this was all announced like within the last 2 weeks. And I think it's closing up by the end of this month. And the reason that it's shutting down is because, from what I've heard through the rumor mill, is that there's a gym next door, and I've heard that the owner of the gym is actually the owner of the entire complex, and he wanted that space that the bowling center is taking up to expand the gym. So he raised the rent on Bolero to a rate that they didn't want to pay and just decided to close the place down instead. So, being that bowling center is closing, okay, a lot of leagues from that bowling center are now scrambling for places to bowl for next year. And the center that we moved to this year for the double sport league, it's one of the larger centers in Monmouth County, if not the largest, 40 some lanes. Almost, I think it might be over 50 actually. They're obviously going to get a lot of this business, right? They're obviously going to get a lot of this business. Well, we were informed a week or two ago that because they're getting this business, our league is going to have to change. Our league is going to have to do some things to make it a better fit, I'll say, to the management team at this particular Bolero. So basically, right now we're bowling a doubles league, 2 on each lane. Next year, they've told us that regardless of what we decide to do, we have to bowl with at least 3 on a lane. So that would mean that we either have to take a doubles league and make it a 3-man league, or the other option we're considering is still keeping it a doubles league, but bowling with 3 teams on a pair, and you're bowling both teams at the same time.
What would be the big deal about making it a 3-person league?
I think it's already hard enough to form enough teams with a 2-man league, let alone a 3-man league. I think it becomes harder to form teams. I think the number of teams that you have in the league is not going to be as high. So I think that becomes an issue. I hear you. To me, it's really 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But yeah, I do believe that's the reality. I mean, that's why we decided to go with a doubles format anyway. Not to mention, Rob, that on the sports stuff, even bowling with 3, with 6 on a pair, can take a long time. It can take a long time if the pattern's tough and everybody's throwing 2 shots. And
do you guys bowl 4 games right now?
No, we bowl 3. But I gotta say, like, the league is just, in terms of ease of bowling in this league that I've bowled this year, it's probably the most enjoyable and easiest league I've ever bowled. Yeah. Because we get in at 7:30, we are out by 9:30, and I am home by 10 o'clock at the latest. And we got the 3 games in. Right.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah, and Lou's commenting in the chat how the league has struggled for years to maintain 10 teams of 3. But then when we put out a doubles format this year, we got over 20 teams with 2. Right? So it's just, I think it's, honestly, I think people are just specific about who they want to bowl with, I think is what it comes down to, especially on that kind of stuff. I think you're also drawing from a somewhat limited pool of players. Especially because it's handicap, you have to take that into consideration as well. But anyway,
So
So this is what's going on, this is the best part of this story. The league that's coming over and is going to be bowling on Tuesday nights on the night that we bowl, that's going to bump us and force us to now go 3 on a lane, is actually the same league from the other place that bumped us out of there. And the name of the league, people are going to love this. The name of the league is the Idiot's Delight League.
nice.
Okay, so the Idiot's Delight League, again, I've told this story on this podcast before because we're repeating history here. The Idiot's Delight League is knocking out our sport league, is
So
forcing change. I won't say knocking out, but is forcing unwanted change to the sport league.
so here's what you guys need to do. Okay, I have an idea.
Go ahead.
You guys need to get the best 5 most athletic people you could find in your bowling center and challenge the owner of the gym into a dodgeball competition where you guys could play dodgeball for the rights of not getting kicked out of your bowling center.
I've heard this story before, haven't I? Where'd I hear this?
You might have heard this story before, but literally what you're telling me of this owner of the gym, all I could see is Ben Stiller. Literally, all I could see is Ben Stiller from Globo Gym, like trying to get out the average Joes out of their gym. And then that's you told the whole story. And all I could think about was that movie. So,
Okay.
But
well,
anyway,
thanks for your helpful input, Rob. Thank you.
I'm here to help the people. I'm here to help you guys do whatever you need to.
Yeah, great suggestion. Great suggestion. No, I think I don't want to say too much, but I think I'm going to take a trip to another bowling center in the county and see if we could possibly find a home there, privately owned place, perhaps. That might, even if I got to switch the night, whatever. Try and kind of build it up again in a different place, perhaps. Because I just don't think Bolero, is going to help out the competitive bowler at all.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately,
it's not a surprise to me that Bolero would the league that's coming in and replacing you guys, the Idiot League, that's what I'm just going to call it.
Idiot's Delight. Idiot's Delight.
Well, I'm just going to call it the Idiots League.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Idiot's Delight.
I can say it. I'm in Arizona. You're in. So the Idiots Delight League, is that a 4-man league?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So they're trying to obviously fill the lanes, fill the bowling center, and it makes sense in a way on their end. But to kick current leagues out of the center and replace it with different leagues is kind of Bush League in a way, though. It kind of is.
We've only been there for a year, though. So I kind of understand it.
Yeah.
I kind of understand it. I mean,
it's so Robert Hamilton, what's up, Robert? Wants to know what league Mr. X is bowling in. That's always on the people's minds, is what Mr.
I don't know. Not our league, not the sport league. I can tell you that. I don't know what. I think he bowls like the bigger handicap, the bigger handicap house leagues there in this same house. Like there's a league on Thursday night in this house, handicap, quote unquote high level league on house that it has like 50 teams. I think it's 52 teams. I think there's 52 lanes. There's 52 teams. So, and that's 4-man. And then there's another one on, I think, Monday nights. That's another handicap 4-man league. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of leagues in this bowling center. But I don't know. Like, am I wrong? And I probably am. I probably am wrong. Bill says I'm wrong about everything, but at the same time, I'm probably right, as Bill said. But am I wrong that there should be a space for bowlers that want to bowl on, like every bowling alley should offer at least one night, one league, where it's like if you don't want to bowl on something more challenging, don't come in the building on that night. I mean, the people that want to bowl on that, that's their opportunity to bowl and work around that night. I mean, it's crazy to me. It's like we
do.
can't even sustain this league because it's almost like we can't find the space to bowl.
I do, but you're thinking about it as a competitive bowler. You're not thinking about it as a proprietor. I'm kind of like,
I know.
and the proprietors, all they want to do is fill the bowling centers, and they don't care how they fill it. And rightfully so, they're a business. They have every right to do that. They want to make money. They want to keep the doors open. They want to, make as much money as they can. So if they have a chance to replace a doubles league with a 4-man league, and that 4-man league is going to bring in, figure if you have, I don't know, 10 lanes or whatever.
Right,
12.
right. And they probably drink more and eat.
Well, you
I
gotta,
get it.
Yeah,
I understand. And that's why I'm saying I'm probably wrong, but I don't know. I just feel like it needs to have a place. If it doesn't have a place, then it's going to be gone. It's going to go away. Period.
Yeah. It's definitely something where as a competitive bowler, you'd like at least some time and day, even if they were to do an hour or two on a slow time, to open it up for a challenge or a sport. It doesn't even have to be a league. It could just be like an hour or two, like practice session where they like open it up, right?
I'm thinking more of a league, but nonetheless,
something.
I understand, and I made the same point to somebody in a conversation this week, Rob. I think what you just said is a really good point. Like, just work with us. Like, even if you have to come to us and say, hey, if you want to bowl this league, it's got to be Sunday mornings,
right?
Or it's got to be Friday nights at 7:00, or it's like, I understand, I get it. I understand that we might not get prime pick of the best night at the best time, and right, I totally get that. But are you telling me that in a 7-day schedule, a bowling center can't come up with a 2.5-hour block of time to have a legitimate sport league?
Well, doesn't Bolero's now, I know around my area they do this during the summer, but they cut their hours pretty significantly. I don't know if that's like that at your center.
We're talking winter. We're talking winter.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking winter here. We're talking winter league, full season winter league. Summer, I feel like, is a different ball game. Actually, I didn't even get into this, but they may let us run the old format that I was running previously, like where you don't have to show up every week. They may let us run that for the summer, and I'm like, all right, well, they're going to let us run that for the summer, but then we're going to have to make these changes for the winter, and I don't know. I don't know how things are going to go, but I'll be honest, I'm not too worried about it. I hate to say this, it makes me kind of sad, honestly, but with all the stuff I'm going to have going on next year, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to bowl, period. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to bowl, let alone bowl on a particular night or whatever it may be. So right now, I'm bowling for the summer. I'm signed up to bowl, basically a fun league over the summer with some people that I enjoy bowling with. And I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to see what comes in the fall. But I don't really have the time and energy to invest in it, right now. But I am going to take a trip to that other center that I mentioned, and I am going to see if maybe we can develop something over there, because I do believe that there's a community of people over there that would be interested in that type of level of competition. And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I also believe that the privately owned bowling centers are going to be way more open to being supportive of a league like that as opposed to a Bolero. And I understand that. I get it. I know it comes down to dollars and this and that, but I just think that's the reality. So I'm willing to at least take a shot and see what happens. Cool. We have a couple comments here before we move on. Henry says that he just wrapped up 2 days of training with Bowling Knowledge as Joe Slowinski. He asked us if we've ever worked with him. I haven't, but interesting connection there, Henry. One of the young ladies that I coached in high school who actually took bowling very seriously and got deeply into it. She actually got a full college scholarship from him when he was starting a program at, now I forget the name of the school. I think it's Lincoln Memorial University was the school he was at for a minute. So, a little connection there. Let's see. National Bowler one is asking, what time does the center close? Yes, the one I work at is a privately owned, and we close at 1 a.m. But our sport league, granted, we have wood surface, starts at 10:45 p.m. Oh my goodness. Woo. I, I,
Sure.
I couldn't do that.
Nope.
I think, I mean, honestly, National Bowler, that's insane to me that somebody would start bowling at 10:45. There's another sport league around my area. I don't know if it's still going, but it was going on, and that started at 9:45, and that was insane to me. So I hear you, and I understand like you have to be willing to compromise. It's just starting that late. I think that you are putting yourself behind the eight ball and trying to get people to come out right from the jump. Because the majority of people are not going to want to start that late. I would even venture to say that even with football season, even with everything that people have going on the weekends and whatnot, I might venture to say that Sunday morning might be like the best time to try and do a league like that where the bowling center is not real busy on a Sunday morning per se. They probably have some parties coming in the afternoon and whatnot. If you're bowling a doubles triples format and you can get in and out of there in under 3 hours, and you start at 9 o'clock and you're done by 12, let's say even 12:15, right, for our slower pairs. I don't know. To me, that's something that I would look at and say, okay, like I could probably manage to clear my time on most Sundays at that time. Probably would work with the bowling center. All right, I'm not going to be, I'm going to be rushed to watch football and whatnot. But yeah, again, you have to be willing to compromise. And I don't, it's not it doesn't seem like it's easy from the perspective of Bolero, but nonetheless, okay. Let's move forward, Rob.
Well, I'm actually going to be bowling for the first time in a while.
Oh yeah, okay, all right, good.
Yeah, my brother Jeff's coming into town in a few weeks. Next weekend, we're not going on air. We're not doing a show. It's Memorial Day weekend. I have a wedding to go to out of town, so I'll be gone all weekend. But me and my brother Jeff's coming in. He's going to be bowling the Masters, I believe, the Senior Masters. That's coming here in the Vegas, not Phoenix. He's coming in the Vegas, but he's stopping here, and he's going. We have about an hour and a half at B3 set up to practice. So I'm going to strap on the shoes and see how the old body feels, and then so I'll be just cool to just kind of get back on the lanes. No tournaments or anything planned at the moment. Just get the juices flowing in a way. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, we'll be on the lookout. All right,
yeah, Jeff is bowling. He's bowling pretty well out there. If you've been following the first two stops.
Well, I haven't, because that's another thing we didn't even say we have to talk about tonight. But we get into this real quick if you want. I haven't, because the new system that they have for the scoring sucks. Okay, Pin Pals or whatever this nonsense is, they need to get it together. Okay, because it's like impossible to check the scores. I don't even check scores anymore. I stopped checking the scores. That's how hard and stupid it is. Guys, we've said this before. Top of the page, one easy click, scores need to be accessible. It's not that hard. I don't care who's running it. You need to explain it to them on that end and say, no, we can't do all this. Sign up, register, log in, password, just to see the scores? No, come on. I can't. So no, Rob, I haven't really been watching. I've been watching a little bit, but I haven't really been keeping up on the scores and the standings.
Yeah, it's been struggle, especially when I'm following my brother, because I know he's bowling well, so I want to see the scores. So I could relate for sure. He'll text me before the scores even get posted when he's done how he did. And I'm like, oh, thanks for telling me, because I couldn't see anything what was happening on the website. So yeah, he's coming to practice before he goes to Vegas to bowl the majors. So it'll be fun. But yeah, so there's a lot of different ways we can go. I know we have a few topics we want to talk about, but I think the first one I want to go get into, Mike, is we didn't get a chance to talk about the CW deal that the PBA made, and that was one of the networks we brought up. And I know Nico said earlier in the chat, we brought it up jokingly, I don't think we were joking, to be honest with you. We kind of had a feeling that it was going to be like one of 3 networks because we did hear some rumblings, Mike, right? Like about CW. We heard some rumblings about CBS Sports. But I think the deal, I guess, was good to like ease people's minds in a way. So if anybody doesn't know or anybody's living under a rock, CW signed, what was it, Mike, an 11 TV deal, I believe, where they're going on the same time and the same day on a weekly basis, which I'm very happy about. I think consistency has definitely, especially TV show consistency, has definitely been missing with the PBA, and I think that has a lot to do with Fox just giving them inconsistent times and days of when the shows were going to be on. And it was hard. You literally every week you consistently have to go on the PBA website to see like when the show was airing. And I think even with the PBA playoffs, that's still like that, right? Like I had to check this weekend.
That's another. Yeah,
It
we'll
is.
get to that. We'll get.
I'm talking about more of the consistency of the shows, like times and the dates.
Yeah,
right? You just kind of never know when it was on. Is it on Saturday at 7 p.m.? Is it on at noon? It's just all over. So CW signs this deal. It's 11 deals for TV shows, and they're going to be on the same time, same day, which is great. I'm a fan of. So that's good news.
well, I have a lot of questions. What's the day and time?
We don't know. There's
Okay,
so many
yeah,
more
well,
questions.
yeah,
So
I
we're going to get
don't.
to that.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this topic just because there are so many questions. I mean, when you talk about 10 or 11 shows, right? So in the last year or two, we've seen that some of these shows now, and I want to go out on a limb a little bit and say it's almost become the norm, but some of these shows have become two shows, right? Where the network wants a show on Saturday and a show on Sunday. So it's these super step ladders where you got 9 people making the show. Then the one winner goes to bowl with the other 4, right? So are there any of those or are there not? Because if there are any of those, then it's not 10 events, it's 9 events or 8 events. So
I
I
think
don't
you're
know.
going to see a change. I think you're going to see a change in format, and I think
We better.
Well, listen. I
They
think
better not be using the 10 shows or whatever they have to do any goofy nonsense either.
I know,
Okay?
and that's
Can we
kind of
throw
my
the
point.
goofy nonsense out the window now and maybe focus on doing 10, 11, whatever it is, really good shows, really quality product shows? Okay? I don't care what has to happen to make that the end result, but that needs to be the end result. Okay?
Right. So I think a lot of what you're talking about with Fox and the nonsense and all the show is I think that Fox gave the PBA a lot of shows. And I think it forced the PBA to put shows like look at the PBA playoffs, right? Like they literally have shows on every weekend, which I'm not a complaint, right? But I'm just saying is I think that Fox was like, okay, we're gonna give you all these shows, and the PBA didn't have enough tournaments to fill all those shows, so they had to do a lot of those 2-show type finals, which, like I said, I'm not complaining about. But if the PBA was, I guess, smart in a way, they would take these 11 shows and they would make the best use of the time they have with these 11 shows. And I agree with you, right? Like these should be national title shows, right? And I wonder, like, there's more questions, right? Like you said, than we have, but I wonder, are the majors going to be filmed or aired separately or different? Like, are the majors going to be on CBS Sports? Like, is the majors going to be part of the CW? There's just a lot of questions. We don't know how much money is involved yet. We don't have a format. We don't have anything really. We don't know anything. The one thing that I can say that's a positive of this whole thing is that live bowling shows are better than no shows or just purely streaming on Bowl TV, which we thought might have happened. So any live bowling on TV, it keeps the sport from essentially like collapsing in a way, right? Which we also thought could happen if they didn't do a TV deal. But I think they need to definitely make use of those TV shows. I think there needs to be a reevaluation of how they can do these shows differently to maybe make them more entertaining. I know just watching the PBA playoffs, these past few shows, they've been. I probably could say that there haven't been the greatest shows to watch on an entertainment quality. There's been some good matches, but just the atmosphere, the energy, the environment has just been flat. I think is a good set, and I think we'll talk about the PBA playoffs. But yeah, I look forward to seeing more of the what the schedule looks like for 2026, right, and what that's going to look like, and how many shows, what's on what times, money, format, all of it.
I have to call out this comment. Marshall Adam Johnson, you're a dope. You're a dope. You're looking at one source there. You dope. Look somewhere else. Okay, not like it matters. Probably a patch pirate. Get out of my chat.
I don't care if there's 4 people watching.
Yeah,
Who gives a shit? I don't care. Like,
so
me and Mike, we do this every week just to bullshit
because we love the game. Yeah, I don't. We ain't here making money, bro. We ain't here for the views.
I'm not sitting here looking. I'm not sitting here to try to blow up like Logan Paul or one of the like. Bowling, bro. Like,
all right, so let me pose another question to you. What if the shows that the CW is going to broadcast are right in the prime of football season? And what if the day is Sunday?
I think.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I know, yeah, it matters.
I need to know this. I need because something like that will absolutely shape my opinion of how this is going to go and what this is going to be. So.
I'm gonna bring this up. Ed, what's up, Ed? Do you see PBA getting big sponsors back, like Pabst Blue Ribbon, Kia, Crazy John Socks, Dude Wipes, Pilgrim Chicken? Appreciates the PBA sponsors. Just concerned with the PBA sponsored. It's a good question. I don't really know what the sponsor. I don't really. There's just way too many questions. Do we see the sponsors coming back? I could see like Crazy John Socks coming back. I could see Dude Wipes, who just kind of came on board. I don't know if when they sign these sponsors, if they make them sign like if it's a year, 2 years. You don't know. You don't have any visibility on what those sponsor contracts look like. It's not public, and we don't know. So, yeah, I mean, God, like the PBA really needs some big sponsors to come in to really like help drive them, right? And the only way they're going to do that is by getting ratings on the shows, and that's just the bottom line. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and I don't know. Do the sponsors matter all that much? We don't even know what they're getting. We don't even know what the value is to the PBA on that.
We don't. Yeah.
Here's the one thing, and again, I say this all the time. Sorry to those people that listen to us on a regular basis. To me, there's really only one type of advertising that matters, and that is advertising that relates to gambling. Okay. I would like to see, even if it, Bet Rivers, whatever outlet the PBA can work with. Okay. I would love to see a commercial during a PBA telecast on the CW network where the betting company that's offering odds on the next match tells you, hey, you can bet. Did you know you could bet on this next match? Log on and get an account to this game. You can bet on this next match if you're interested in bowling. Just try and get it going. Just do something. Do multiple things to try. Let's get a little 10-minute pre-show instead of talking about the bowlers and the bowling balls and the lane conditions. Let's talk gambling, okay? Let's talk gambling. Let's try and get some people interested in the gambling aspect of this and see if we can make headway through that.
Sign up now for a free promo code for a free bet for
that's it. Promo code. Who do you think you are? I am.
If Jason Belmo bowls 300, you can get a free chance to win $10,000. Right? Sign up now. I have the commercial right here.
That should, Rob. That should be all over. Yeah, that's a great promo too. that should be all over the PBA website. That should be all over everything you click on for the PBA. It should be scrolling across the bottom of the screen during the PBA show. Hey, come bet on us. Come bet on our sport. We're a sport that's made for gambling. Okay, come bet on us. So yeah, who knows? A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. I need more answers before I'm ready to really give an opinion on what this means. What the prize funds are going to look like.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this comment up from Bowling with the Dio. Dio. I'm not gonna say Diallo, it's Dio. We all know from Spanish class that double L is pronunciation with a Y. What about the registration fees from the bowling ball companies? Is it worth them to be registered? It's a really good question. I think that's something that if I was to bring on a higher up at a bowling ball company like a Tyler Jensen, and I would like to ask them that. If I'd imagine that they're not. I think it's really tough for them to understand the money they get back from that type of marketing. Like I think it just would go into their marketing budget. And marketing, I'm not into marketing. It's not my profession, not my career. But marketing is hard because it's always hard to understand how much money you're getting back from it, unless you have specific stats that tells you that this ad brought in 1,000 clicks and that those 1,000 clicks, were equivalent to how much money. But when you put a Storm logo on a Jason Belmonte or a shirt or Motive with an EJ Tackett, it's tough to get an idea of how much money that just is generating for them. So, yeah, it's a good question. I would love to ask a higher up at a ball company that question.
Yeah, I also, along with that, I think that's a great question. Here's another, again, a lot of questions. Here's another question. What happens to staff contracts here?
Ooh, a lot of patch pirates getting angry.
No, I don't care about them. We ain't giving them any credence or time on this program here. I'm talking more about the actual exempt pros and their staff contracts. The bowling ball companies are always looking to squeeze. This, so if the tour is a shorter tour and there's less weeks and there's only 10 shows and what does all this equal out to? You know what it equals out to? Lower contract numbers. Lower contract numbers for people. So yeah, I don't
here's
know.
my prediction and speculation. I don't think it's just going to be 11 shows. I just don't see that happening. I think they'll piece together more shows and more tournaments than just like 11 shows, 11 tournaments. I could see them piecing together some shows on CBS Sports. I could see them piecing together some shows on Bowl, streaming strictly on Bowl TV. Sometimes you have these type of PBA Owens Classic tournaments,
right.
These PBA Delaware Classic, these Bear Indiana.
That's gone that's gone by the wayside the last season or two, right?
Yeah, but I could see them bringing that back, but Owen being on Bowl TV type.
I could see that, and okay, all right, but again, what are the details? The devil is in the details on this for sure. So. I gotta wait.
All right, we'll see. I'm sure we're not going to hear anything probably for a while. I'd imagine we're not going to start seeing schedules and stuff until I'd imagine usually they don't release anything till November of this year. So it'll be definitely. Henry's wearing a shirt too. Spare keeping bowlers off house shots. Unfortunately, Big Mike's league is not following the spare. Slogan here, so they want to keep bowlers on house shots because the Idiots League is coming in and replacing them. So, all right, Mike, let's talk about the PBA playoffs a little bit.
Tackett versus Svensson.
Is there any interest in these shows?
Well, in the shows up to this point, no. No, there hasn't.
Why is that? Why?
Because they're taped. Because they're taped. And let's be honest. In today's environment, okay, no one has great interest in a taped product. All right, a taped product means in today's environment, I can find out the results likely before that product even comes to fruition. Right, and that's true of the PBA playoffs. Okay, I think in today's environment, when you create a live product, okay, now people feel like they have to be in front of the TV to watch it if they really want to say it. If they really want to see it, sorry, because if they're not in front of the TV when it's airing in real time, they're inevitably going to find out about it before they catch it. Okay. And I just think that any time in this environment that you're talking about tape shows, yeah, it's going to bring down the quality of the product. Now, on top of that, okay, the crowds at Thunderbolt, okay, where this is taking place, was being taped, seems very lightly attended. Seems very lightly attended. The shows today, to me, seemed like they almost had nobody there. Okay. My other observation is they're bowling for $100,000. Have you ever seen guys be so ho-hum about bowling for $100,000? I mean, contrast that show to, I'm serious, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta go off on this one. I've been waiting all afternoon to say this. Contrast that show today to the semifinal at Bayside that had Prather and Simo and Bill and Rash. I mean, guys, what is going on? What is going on? Okay? Like those two products cannot be compared to each other. Today, absolute snooze fest. Snooze fest. And I am a huge bowling fan, and I'm saying that. Okay? Bayside, semifinals a few years back, electric, bro. It was electric in that place. Okay? And I don't know, man. It just really seems like they're just going through the motions. It just seems like the majority of guys, you know. For those of you that are listening can't see what I'm doing. We didn't cut out. I keep taking my hand and giving it a little boop right above my head, doing the EJ Tackett nod back to the crowd after he strikes. I mean, this is what we get. This is it. You know, this is the best bowler on the planet. This is his personality. This is the fact that he's not really being challenged by a lot of the people that he's bowling. Okay, so what do you get? You know, and I'm not. Please don't misinterpret and make me out to be hating here. But you get a very Walter Ray-esque experience. Okay, you get a very Walter Ray-esque experience where it's almost everybody believes this guy's going to win. He believes he's going to win, and he's just going to go out there and go, oh, okay, just going about my business here. Howdy, y'all. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Okay, all right. Have a good night, everyone. Yeah, that's it, and that's what we're getting. And I got to be honest, it's boring, and it needs to change.
I 100% agree. I didn't have any really interest in the tape shows. I had to keep consistently checking to find out when the shows were on, even because I'm like, oh, they're on this weekend, but it was a little hard for me to, I don't know, like tune in on a 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. on a Saturday night to watch bowling, to watch a tape show that doesn't lack of energy, lack of storylines.
Well, today it was 12 noon Eastern. It was 9 a.m. your time.
Yeah, which isn't happening. Sometimes I get lucky and it's on in the gym when I'm in the gym, and I could check out a little bit. But just lack of interest, just lack of energy. It felt like the energy was just completely sucked out of the place.
There was no energy.
Like. Yeah, it just felt like that.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
Then, you compare that to the Bayside PBA playoffs, which is a fair comparison. But I even said it a couple weeks ago when we had Rudy on. Like, you could even compare it to the show where Rudy bowled Chris Barnes. And I know you're not comparing the same tournaments and the same environment, but Mike, like, why can't bowling do something, I don't know, similar to that on most of their shows, especially when these guys are bowling for 100K? I don't think the product came out the way they wanted it to. I'll just believe that when they're probably, how could people sitting there watch these shows that are from the PBA or Bolero that are in charge of doing these and sit there and go, man, this is really like exciting. Like, I just can't believe that. And if they do think that these shows are exciting and that people are going to want to watch or it's appealing, then I think you got the wrong people in the wrong spots that are making these decisions. You know what I mean? Because I can't. You're a bowling nerd. I'm usually the guy who's complaining about the entertaining, and you love the bowling. And if you're saying that these shows are boring and you're the bowling guy, we got a pretty big problem here, I think, because we all know I'm not getting the entertainment value from these shows. And if you're not even getting the bowling fix that you want, we couldn't bet on it, obviously, because it was taped. I'm sure we'll be able to bet next weekend. It's live, right?
Yeah, when? On Memorial Day weekend.
Which I won't be. I'll be out of town. I'll be lucky to even like catch any of it. I won't be able to see any of it. I'll watch it maybe from a bar or something, but I'm not going to be able to bet or do anything really involved. But anyway, so yeah, just man, and then people wonder why Fox didn't re-sign the deal in a way, right?
Well, I wonder if that whole situation has something to do with the general vibe out there. Just the idea that,
maybe
the unsurety of what's going on, and guys kind of not knowing, and I'm sure that it's not an upbeat environment out there at the current time to wrap up the season. But at least we get the finals of this event live, and you're going to get two guys bowling against each other for 100 G's.
So question is, that going to be the finals? Is that going to be back in the Thunderbolt Arena, or is that somewhere different?
I'm not sure. I didn't check the details on that. I don't know if you want to look it up or not. Mike Ware in the chat is saying Bethlehem will be loud for the tour finals. Yeah, I agree, Mike. I think they'll get a good crowd in Bethlehem. I actually might be up there myself. But at the same time, different network, right? I believe that's going to be on CBS Sports again. So, you're going there just for that one event, and then you're out, and then it's going to be CW Network. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the playoff finals. If I can next weekend, I'll definitely carve out the time to watch that. I'd like to bet on it. I think it has the potential to be a decent match, especially since they're bowling the extended format. But yeah, listen, got to give a tip of the cap to EJ Tackett. No, I mean,
the kid's just
this season that he's having is just it's unbelievable. Yep. If he wins this tournament, it's like, what's his season earnings going to be versus second place?
So real quick, Tackett has won the U.S. Open, the Pete Weber Memorial, the Shark, and the World Championship this year.
And he has a chance. He ain't going to finish less than second in the playoffs.
In the playoffs,
which also counts as a title and counts for $100,000.
Yeah, these last 2 years,
crazy.
It's crazy. But yeah, we'll definitely. I'd imagine it's going to be a lot louder for the finals. I'd imagine that there's going to be more people watching.
I don't know. Is there? It's going to be Memorial Day weekend. Do you think a lot of people are going to draw away from their Memorial Day weekend out there to go and watch bowling? I mean, it's possible.
Detroit's a pretty big bowling city.
Can I make an observation for a second? Like, I went to a professional women's soccer game on Friday night, okay, with my daughter. And I'm not going to get into the details, but within the game, it was like there were events within the game. There were soccer related companies there giving things away. There were contests that they had that involved soccer skills. The kids kicking the ball out here, win a pack of tattoos that have the team logo on them or whatever. Just little stuff like that. Little stuff, right? I kind of feel like the PBA could learn something from sports organizations that are providing that kind of environment. Right? You at this point, I feel like you have to give the bowlers a reason to come out. And why they're not going to come out just for the bowling. They're not going to come out just to sit in the back and just watch the bowling. You have to give them another reason to come out. You need to create almost like I don't want to say carnival because I think that's a little overboard.
No.
But I'm gonna say expo type environment. Okay? You need to create almost an expo type of environment where people can come out and not only watch the bowling, but also experience other things related to the game and companies involved and various things. And I know that's hard to do because of the travel involved and the logistics and whatnot, but it was just another thought I had because I've attended a lot of these PBA tournaments, right? And I've gone to a lot of the events. And Rob, I'm telling you, like, if you compare it to what Carolier was back in the day, it's nothing. It's nothing. Because
So this
again,
is the first. That's the first thing that came to my mind, Mike, in the chat. Like tailgates.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
tailgates.
Yes, like a fan fest, right? And I don't have all the details on what that would involve. Playing cards or the players being handed out, some players giving autographs, bowling ball companies there with their new stuff where maybe you could throw a ball, and I have no idea, right? It's just a fan fest type experience. To again, where when the people come out to watch the bowling, they're not just getting the experience of standing there watching the bowling.
Get a chance to dunk Kyle Troop into a water tank.
No, I don't think we need to go that far. Now I know Steel City is doing something like this for the tour finals, and it's cool. Like I think they're going to have a band playing, and they're having several professional bowlers come out and hang out with the crowd. It's awesome. That's what the sport needs more of. You got to give people a reason to come to the events now. They're not just going to show up just to watch the game. They could do that at home. They could do that on their computer. They can do that on their phone. They could do it anywhere. You got to give them a reason to show up and come to your event. All right.
So interesting. Like, I mean, Fred in the chat talks about horse racing. I think NASCAR does a really good job of doing that kind of what you're talking about before. NASCAR to me is not the most interesting sport, but I've heard their tailgates are like legendary at these NASCAR events. And even when I went to the Phoenix Celebrity event, it was in the racetrack, the Phoenix racetrack or whatever that was, and they had that whole like thing. Like there were people there that had like these huge RVs there like a week before the tailgate, like the race was even starting. That people were already there, like preparing their tailgates. And I mean, it is like tailgating is a big business. Like there is a lot of people that love the tailgate, go to a football game. But I think bowling and Bayside did that for a little bit. They had, I wasn't there for the tailgates and stuff, but that is definitely what you're, for me, a bowling version of what you're talking about in a way. Because if you were in Bayside and you were there, you could go and you could have a drink at the bar with a pro, like a random pro that you might not even know, and talk to them and take a picture with them, right? You could do a lot of different things when you were there, and it seemed like a little bit of a more fan-friendly event. And I agree with you. I think the PBA needs to. It doesn't have to be every event, right? But it definitely wouldn't hurt to try to pick 2 or 3 events during a year to at least try to see if that could generate more fans coming out and generate bigger crowds, which then have a lot more energy, right? And
Yep.
it doesn't help when they may be a little boozed up from the tailgate. I'm gonna lie, right? Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
well, I
hurt.
mean, and a lot of times, to me, it boils down to simple stuff like people like free stuff. People like a chance to win something.
Right.
You raffle off a couple balls. You give away some free chamois.
Shirts. People love free
Yeah,
shirts, right?
like I said, like I don't know. I think again, like we gotta, the PBA has to start thinking bigger picture here,
Agreed.
or it does the network change ain't gonna matter. If they go and they present the same product they've been presenting, the network change isn't gonna make a difference. They're gonna just roll into obscurity.
Yeah. Jim, what's up, man? Back in the 90s when the PBA was on ABC, they would do that for the arena finals where they would have a band performing, putting on a show during commercial breaks. That's a big picture, costs money. I mean, bands and all that obviously cost money. So I think you don't need to hire bands if you could just get your pros, right? To
Right.
be involved, and you don't need to pay your pros. Those guys. A lot of them would be there for free, right? Promoting the shows, and we know a lot of the guys that if they're there, they'll be gladly to do it. PBA, they might have to pay the pros to make events or make like appearances, right? But the bowling ball companies, essentially, these guys are on their contract. They could force them to make appearances because that's in their contract when they're on staff. So, right. Hey, take a picture with Bill O'Neill, win a free ball at a raffle, or get a Bill O'Neill signed bowling ball, or a EJ Tackett signed motive ball, right? There's just
Right.
a lot of different things. Okay, I think I think it's a great point. So, all right, Mike, let's talk a little bit Queens before we get to worst of the week. The Queens
16,
is going
16 winners left, I believe, right now.
Yes. And right now, tomorrow, they bowl 9 a.m. on the Fresh. And this is just the winners. I think there is some bowling at 4 p.m. going on, which is, I believe, where is this in Vegas? So it's going on right now, the losers bracket matches.
Okay.
But the winners bracket right now, Brianna Cote's bowling, Lee Jane Sin, who's look out for her. That's a great match, by the way. Lindsay Boomershine is bowling Alicia Current. Hui Fan Nu is bowling Cassidy Curry. Josie Barnes is bowling Natasha Roslin. Clara Guerrero bowling Jay Cote. Ashley Galante bowling Bernice Lim. Missy Parkin bowling, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name, Swani Sahar. And Hope Grammarly bowling Nir Hazwir Rami. Now, Mike, real quick, I've noticed that women bowling has really done a little bit of a more international in the last year, and I see it this year even, where there's a lot more international players. You see them on top, names that we're not too familiar with. So it's interesting how the men, when they had that opened up, right, the World Series, we saw a lot of more international players making shows. And now the women's have a more of an open type format to bowl the PWBA. The Queens is obviously open. And you're seeing a lot of international players coming in too, especially you're looking at this bracket. You see a lot of like mixing of American women. Now you're seeing a lot of international women that I don't personally know or have never seen bowl. So it's just interesting. I hope that these international women, when they make the shows, have a lot more energy and enthusiasm than the men did when they made the shows at the World Series. I think it's just, you kind of hit or miss at this point. But yeah, I wish we could bet on women bowling in the Queens. We can't. Bet Rivers not covering that. I saw that question being asked in the chat earlier. I checked Bet Rivers to see if I could maybe get on the action tomorrow at the Queens to see if I can maybe put a bet in or two. But unfortunately, Bet Rivers is not covering it.
Okay. All right, Rob, you about ready to wrap it up?
I am. Let's give the people what they want.
Let's do it. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first this time.
Oh man, I have so many. I have so many worst of the week options, but I only get one choice, huh?
You want
I
to get
have
one?
to-
You could have it.
I
You
have,
could do an honorable mention if you want.
I have to pick one. Oh man.
Just go with it.
All right. I have a couple best of the weeks too because I've been highlighting some good posts that I found. Oh boy, do you want a junior gold one or do you want a patch pirate one?
Oh, let's go junior gold.
Okay. Now I want to be clear here. I'm not giving worst of the week to the poster here. Okay? I'm giving worst of the week to the USBC in general. All right. And you all know what time of the year is coming around soon enough. It's one of Big Mike's least favorite times of the bowling calendar year, and that is Junior Gold. Okay. For those of you that might be new to the program here, the reason I have a problem with this youth event is because they sell qualifying for the event as if it is an accomplishment in and of itself. And what this does is it drives hordes of people to this event who have legitimately no chance or business being at this event. Okay. So I saw this post and I thought, wow, this is the result of this kind of stuff is the result of the USBC selling qualification to this event as an accomplishment in and of itself. And this is this is kind of what you're going to get. So here's the post. It's from the Junior Gold questions and answers Facebook page. Okay. I'm not going to give the person's name because I'm not giving this post worst of the week. The post is not the worst of the week. The post is the reason for my worst of the week to the USBC. Okay. Post says this: I have been creating state youth bowler stickers and selling them as a fundraiser. Selling them as a fundraiser for my children to travel to Junior Gold. I've seen another post with fundraising ideas and wanted to offer what I have as well, either to purchase for my fundraising effort or to purchase in bulk to create your own fundraiser. I have some states already and more in the making. Message me if you would like to purchase. Here's one example I created. Fundraisers. No, I'm sorry. Shouldn't be needed. All these kids, and parents for that matter, should be able to compete at a local and regional level where they do not have to spend a bunch of money, where they do not have to fundraise to legitimately earn the trip to an event like a Junior Gold Championships. And I'm even going to go a step further. And I'm going to say that if they legitimately earn that trip to the Junior Gold Championships through a local qualifier, through a regional qualifier, through a state qualifier perhaps, and then a regional qualifier, it should be free. The number of kids invited to that event should be so minimal, so low, that the USBC should be able to cover the cost for most of the kids involved in it. Not for the parents. I'm not saying for the parents. The parents have to pay their own way if they want to go. But for the kids, it should be free. Because money should not determine whether we find out who the best youth bowler in the country is. It should not be a determining factor. And kids should not have to, and families, parents should not have to run fundraisers to go and compete in a tournament where they might be completely over their heads.
You could make an argument though that the way bowling is set up these days with all the equipment, and we've talked about this on previous shows, that in order for your kid to compete as a bowler, as a parent, I couldn't just buy them 1 or 2 bowling balls for a whole year and expect them to be able to beat these kids that are on staff.
I know, but listen, like, but don't you understand that that's part of what I'm saying here? Like, don't you think that there's kids and parents who will travel to Junior Gold, who are fundraising to go to Junior Gold, who will go to Junior Gold with 4 bowling balls, and one of them's a plastic ball, and they fundraised to get there? I mean, Rob, there's lunacy in that, bro. Now I understand that to us, what is lunacy is on the other side just a parent who doesn't know the realities, right? But that's lunacy.
Yeah, Dawn in the chat. Hi, Dawn. She says the cost of Junior Gold is not the tournament; it's the lodging and the meals to get there. I mean, we talked about this at numerous lengths about how much money it would be for a family of 5 to go watch their kid bowl a 120 the first game and already be 90 behind the number. And because they're absolutely killing their local junior league, bowling up on some easy house shot that they are qualifying for.
Rob, I think so many kids qualify for this tournament that you don't even have to be the kid killing your local house league.
No,
I think the kid who just shows up every week and stays dedicated to showing up every week and trying will eventually qualify for this tournament. You know, so it again just really it just rubs me the wrong way. Robert Hamilton with a great point. All the bowling balls in the world, and then 9 times out of 10 they use urethane the whole time. So Robert, maybe you're right. Maybe the kid's showing up with 4 balls. But as long as 3 of them are urethane, you might have a shot.
I mean, not to stay on this, but wouldn't the USBC not want to go into that direction just because of all of the money that they're probably bringing into the USBC from all of these kids and parents?
I mean, I don't know if you. I've had people contact me before, and I think Chad Murphy may have even said it while he was on our show that Junior Gold is not the revenue producer that people think it is. You know,
because they spend a lot of money with the setup and its expenses is a lot, right?
I guess,
yeah. So if you're the USBC, then wouldn't you want to cut down on a lot of that? And if you were to do your method, wouldn't they cut down a lot of those expenses? I don't know. I don't see the numbers. I don't see the expense reports. I don't see it, but I'm just curious.
Cheryl Pope in the chat saying, and next year there'll be even more kids because they're changing the divisions again.
Where is it this year, Junior Gold?
I don't know.
Is it at least somewhere fun?
I don't know.
They should just have it in Orlando every year.
Where is it, guys? Guys in the chat, where is it?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Is it somewhere where it's just going to be you're going to go bowl? Or is it somewhere where the family could take a vacation, right? I'd be more willing to go to Junior Gold. Oh, it's in Green Bay. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything bad about Green Bay. I'm going to Wisconsin this weekend, so I don't want to say anything bad about the state. I'll have people sitting at the airport waiting for me. But, I mean, it's a nice time to go this year. The weather will be nice. Okay. Do you want to talk about your Patch Pirate worst of the week real quick? Well, we have a few minutes.
Oh, you want me to do a second one?
We'll call it honorable mention this week.
Oh man. No, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. I'll save the material. Yeah, go ahead.
The material adds up. So my worst of the week goes to this morning. Bowlers Mart woke up and chose violence on their social media. They posted, and I shared it because I was in the bathroom literally going through my feed, and I'm like, oh, good Lord. This is the one question. Bowlers Mart has a big social media following, right? I think they got a huge amount of followers. You don't want to open this question up on social media. And the answers were my worst of the week. It wasn't the question, because I understand what they're trying to do. They're Bowlers Mart. They're trying to get traffic to their website, right? They have a good website. They do a good job in that end, right? I love Bowlers Mart. Who is the most overrated PBA and PWBA bowler?
Ooh.
Okay. And the answers that were coming into these comments were unbelievable. If these people have got to be trolling at this point, because the one name that someone brought up, I almost fell off the chair, and someone was like, "Oh well, Liz Johnson is the most overrated bowler of like." Wait, this is
boy.
the greatest woman bowler of all time. Like I would put her above pretty much everybody if I'm talking the GOAT of the sport of the women's professional bowling at this moment is Liz Johnson. She just got inducted right into the into the USBC Hall of Fame. Right, this is a woman who will beat most of the men. Right, like she's unbelievable. I saw a couple people talking about Belmonte being overrated. Kid has 15 majors. Like,
Why do you even read the comments?
Oh, because it's a train wreck.
It's Bowler's Mark just getting every goofball and wackadoo to come out of the woodwork. Okay.
No, it made me laugh because I was reading the comments and I'm like,
I'm sure a bunch of them were like, "Oh, two-handed bowlers are all overrated. Oh, lefties are overrated." I mean,
yeah, but some of the answers were actually, I mean, they were not bad answers too.
Do you want to answer that?
Ooh, wow. Overrated. And overrated is such a tough answer in a way, because overrated in what way? Like, because people are saying like, okay, I'll give you an example. Like, people are saying like Daria is overrated as a PWBA bowler, but just because she has a big social media following and she does a better job than most any other bowler, not just woman bowler, but man bowler with her social media, does that mean that she's overrated? What overrated in what sense? Why should she be punished for having an amazing social media following and having all these followers? And like, so it's one of those questions like someone brought up Darren Tang or like Darren Tang, what? Because they have a big social media following. Brad and Kyle, would you consider them overrated? Why? Because they have a huge YouTube channel. You know what I mean? So I think overrated is a little bit of a hard question.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right,
let's wrap it up.
You ready to finish this? Let's do it.
All right, final thoughts, Rob.
So there was some news that we actually never talked about a few weeks back, where Michael Fagan bought was it a bowling alley in New Mexico, Strike and Spares, I think, where the New Mexico Open is going to be held. Our friend of the show, Carl, and the Agent on Open is actually going to be taking over and running the New Mexico tournament that they run for 10 grand every year. But it's kind of interesting because I knew about this potential purchase when I was at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and I talked to Mike, and he let me know about that. Hey, he was at the finish line to buying this bowling center, and I was able to. I had we actually I picked him up from the airport, so I actually had a chance to like catch up with him and talk to him about it. I think Mike's going to make a very, very good proprietor, just from his business sense and his knowledge of bowling, competitively and recreationally. If you're in that area, in the New Mexico area, you lucked out having someone like Mike Fagan buy this bowling center. I think it's going to be good for everybody in that area for the New Mexico Open with Agent Ong running it. I definitely plan to have Mike on soon to chat with him about the purchase and see what life of a proprietor is going to be like for him. I've already talked to him about changing the name of the bowling center to like Mike Fagan Mops or Mike Fagan Haas Lanes, Fagan Mop Lanes, Fagan's Hair Lanes. We even, talked about it. So,
Yo Mop.
Remember Fagan's Hair? That was you, right? The PBA board? Yeah, Fagan's Hair. That would be an amazing bowling center name, right?
You love bringing that up. I try and let that die, but you just love bringing that up.
Yeah, and so we'll see. But it's interesting that seeing a pro buy a pretty big bowling center in that area where there's a big bowling tournament happening every year is a good thing when you see someone like that instead of Bolero taking it over, right? Which could have easily happened too. The king of swing lanes, the Argyle assassin lanes we sing from Geo Strap and Robert Hamilton. Like you should have a contest, like have some kind of big marketing where if you win the contest, you get to name the bowling center.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
You know what I told him? I was like, you want to know how to make a great bowling center? And this was a serious conversation. I said, there's two things that have to happen. You have to take care of your league bowlers. You have to make open bowling affordable. And the most important part of a successful bowling center is make sure the bowling alley snack bar is on the map. On the map, because people would, they know they're going there to get a whatever it is, your specialty, you're more willing to get them in your bowling center. Hey, man, this place has the best pizza. It has the best chicken fingers. Let's go get some chicken fingers and let's go bowl a game. Affordable prices for drinks, all of it. Like, make sure the bowlers are taken care of. The league bowlers are taken care of, and make sure the prices are affordable. It's clean, and there's a good snack bar. Man, I should run the bowling center for him, Mike.
Yeah, I definitely believe that today you need to be giving people a reason other than the bowling to come into your bowling center, right? Whether it's the food, whether it's the entertainment, whether it's the arcade games, whatever it may be, you do need to be giving people additional reasons to come into your bowling center. No question. Surviving on just bowling, I think, is a thing of the past. And I definitely think it can be done where you have both sides. Like, you have the recreational customer, but then you're also able to take care of the competitive customer or the league bowling customer, so to speak. I definitely think that both of those sides can coexist. There just has to be some balance there. But yeah, that's cool, man. Cool to hear, and I wish them luck. And yeah, I think it would be interesting to give them some time to get set up and get things running. But 6 months from now or 12 months from now, it'll be interesting to have them on and kind of see how things are going.
Cool. Yeah. Don't forget about shirts.
Don't forget the shirts. My final thought is summer leagues. Summer leagues. Do you bowl during the summer or do you not? I don't know. I like to bowl during the summer because I'm off.
It's hot as hell here, so
it is hot. The approaches are no good. A lot of times it's tough.
The air conditioner's got to be good at the bowling center. I'm more interested to go bowl during the summer if I know the air conditioner is going to be good at the bowling center.
Okay, all right. I'm just throwing that out there. It's my final thought. Like, what do people do during the summer? Feel free to hit us up on social media. Let us know what your bowling plans are over the summer. He's Brooklyn Rob 11. I'm at the 215. We do most of our chatting on X. Feel free to email us, sweeptherack@gmail. I want to thank all the people for the recent emails we've gotten. We've gotten some tremendous emails over the last few weeks. So big shout to you guys if you've sent us an email. We appreciate that. And I think we've gotten back to most, if not all of them at this point. So we always appreciate the emails. Keep the emails coming. Rob, we will not be here next week. We're going to be on another week break hiatus. Everybody should enjoy the Memorial Day. Make sure that you catch up on the PBA playoff finals before we're back in 2 weeks, where we will recap that $100,000 match and talk about the winner, talk about what went down there. We appreciate everybody joining us as usual, and we will catch everybody in 2 weeks.
Later, guys.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.